in one take. I probably won't wait for anybody. I think it's kind of a busy time. This is going to be a short 30-minute session because I got to go pick up my daughter. So, Tim Black and indie media versus people like Sham Seder and Wannabe MSM, mainstream media. What I wanted to talk about is strategy as far as what are they doing as far as in relation to what mainstream corporate media is doing. When you listen to Tim Black, he's going to talk about issues that mainstream media isn't covering. And he doesn't make a lot of money. You know that mainstream media anchors, news anchors and commentators, they're making millions of dollars a year because they're not paid to talk about what they want to talk about. They're paid not to talk about certain subjects, and that's why you won't be able to listen to certain things going on, like the DNC lawsuit and more coverage and in-depth investigation on Seth Rich murder and how that might tie into Seth Rich being a WikiLeaks leaker. Hi TBC. So when you think on strategy, okay, first off for Tim, all I want to say is don't go onto a video call-in session with someone who has a video presence. It's just the presence itself gives a psychological perception of being more agreeable to. It's kind of like when you go into an interview and you're on they give you a smaller chair and you're shorter than the person that you're being interviewed with. You feel a little bit intimidated, and if people see that, they just kind of say, hey, the guy in the higher chair, it has a more commanding presence type of thing. So despite what's being said, just being a call-in doesn't help. So if you're gonna have a debate or discussion with someone, have it on even playing field, have a side-by-side video. So that's just my one suggestion to Tim. Otherwise, I think Tim did great because what they were both pretty much trying to kind of show people what the other person is or isn't doing and whether it's perceived as good or bad. And I think Tim did a much better job of putting Sham Seder in a negative spotlight than Sham Seder putting Tim in a negative spotlight. So the first thing that I want to say for Sham Seder is, and you can go ahead and watch this live, HypoBox, and I give you all the links in this source in the description box below, and it's timed, so you don't have to go searching for it. So Sham Seder, Tim calls in, and they kind of talk for quite a while. There's so much to go over. I don't think I would do it justice. If you want to see good feedback on it, listen to H.A. Goodman. He does a good piece on it. It's almost 14 minutes long. And Hard News Network, Hard Bastard this is one of his other sites. He did a live session, and you can see his live session on the live stream 6/21/17. So when that live session is done, you can go back and review his take on it, and he does really good job. So if you haven't subscribed to him, subscribe to Hard News Network along with Hard Bastard. Okay, so now here's the thing of being independent media and talking with mainstream media narratives is you're basically a cheap version of mainstream media. Why do you think you're going to become the next Rachel Maddow by talking the same narrative? You're not. You're just going to be the cheap version that mainstream media doesn't have to pay for to talk about what they want you to talk about. Now, when you have independent media that doesn't fit that category, that doesn't want to talk about those narratives because there's other stories that are out there that are more important that they're not covering. So that's what Tim Black does. That's what H.A. Goodman does. That's what Holly Seeliger does. That's what Jamal Thomas does. And Hard Bastard, he doesn't quite do news, but he does breakdown of news in mainstream media, and he also brings out other things. That's what Nika House of Mi Casa Su Casa does. That's what Zach Holler does. So independent media talk about whatever they want. They don't get paid not to talk about certain things. But you know what? When the time comes, when they get big enough, you know who's going to come knocking at their door? Corporate mainstream media, and they're going to offer them millions of dollars. And it's not to talk about stuff for them. It's about going on their show, their network, and not talking about things. So if you, Sham Seder, David Kuckman, whoever, if you guys want to become the corporate media replacements of Rachel Maddow and all those people and make millions of dollars a year, then you might want to co-opt what independent media is really doing and talking about stuff that mainstream media isn't. So that's my strategic advice to you. That's that. I think the next topic, and this is going to be a short one, as I said earlier if you didn't come in to it. Hi, Eric. So the next one is Justice Democrats, and I think brand new Congress is involved. So basically I watched Nico House and look at his video, Justice Dems accidentally run a progressive to beat progressive. Now, I don't know where he got his news of that from, but I did a little digging, and I think I want to kind of point out an old video of mine, and it's about talking about 3 incoming political movements: problems with Justice Democrats, problems with brand new Congress. And if you go to brand new Congress, they still have it. If you look at brand new Congress, look at all their sponsors. They got Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, Wired, Huffington Post, Daily Beast, Slate, Nation. So basically all the mainstream media, corporate news network are sponsoring and supporting brand new Congress. I don't think that's going to work. And you know, some people and there's a big thing right now with Elizabeth Beck going on Breitbart to report the DNC fraud lawsuit, and there's a lot of hubbub about that. I think that's fine. You get news and coverage wherever you can find it. The only thing is sometimes they won't cover it. Look at all these below. You're not going to find anything about the DNC fraud lawsuit from any of these news networks or news, except for the Huffington Post, of course, with H.A. Goodman, Tim Black. So maybe I'm wrong about that. So maybe I'll leave it there. All right. So what happened was Justice Democrats endorsed Anthony V. Clark, and he's pretty progressive views, and he's going to be running in the Illinois 7th. And you can see on the Justice Democrat sites themselves that he's going to be running in Illinois 7th. So Justice Democrats is about primarying corporate Democrats, right? That's what they say. That's, you could go to any of their videos about Justice Democrats and what they're about. So who's the corporate Democrat? Danny K. Davis. He's the current House of Representatives for Illinois 7th District. And you could just read in that first part of the wiki. He's a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, Progressive Caucus, and Democratic Socialist of America. All right, he's as progressive as you could get. So why are they primarying him? So it just doesn't make sense. It makes sense if you realize that Justice Democrats is a sham. Same with brand new Congress, that they're not really doing what they said they were doing. They're just saying one thing and doing a whole nother thing. But because they get all the momentum on their side, it's just perceived like they're being progressive when they're not. They're actually being less progressive, putting in what you might call co-opting politicians that tout the liberal or the progressive agenda, but they really don't. And just this right here with Anthony Davis, or not Anthony Davis, not the basketball player, Anthony Clark going against Danny Davis, it's just that should be a tell-all pretty much. I don't know how they're going to spin this, but only time will tell, so we'll see. And that's it for my news. There's going to be Jamal Thomas tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and then we're going to have after hours, and then anything goes afterwards. So I'll see you then. Hi folks, sorry this is a short one. Bye.